you don't stand for something, you can't attract the right clients. Not only don't attract the right clients, you don't attract the right people to your business. You've got to not only hold that standard, you've got to raise the standard. When you can raise your standard for yourself and for your business, you attract the right type of people. My definition of success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. So ultimately, we all have different ideals, but success comes through moving towards it.
Most people want to do so they can have, so they can become. When the best approach to get the results is you have to become and then do so you can have.
The lesson I wish I knew earlier on was...
Welcome to Founders Playbook Podcast, the ultimate guide for entrepreneurs to build their empires, increase profits, and become great leaders. I'm your host, Nelson, founder and CEO of Vibes Creative, Australia's leading video podcast agency. Let's get down to business. Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. As usual, we have a legendary guest at Vibes HQ. By the way, he's one of our podcast partners. So super excited to share his story and what he does today with you guys. And he owns QPaint, a painting business that makes over $4 million in revenue, with him working just 1 day per week. So he's definitely a master at growing a business with not working harder. And as a result of his success growing his own painting business, at some point he decided to start Painter Coach, where he essentially now helps other painting businesses achieve the same exact results by working less. Please welcome the absolute incredible, the legend, the one and only, Mr. Tas Moulis.
Thanks, brother. Lovely to be here. Excited to be here, actually. Really excited to be here. This is super cool.
Let's just dive into it.
Let's do it.
What's the secret to making over $4 million in revenue working only 1 day per week?
One secret? Wow, put me on the spot here. If I had to pick one thing, it would be... Wow, that's a big one, man. One thing, it's like, how do you be number one? Get out of your own way. That'd be the main thing, because most business owners, most painting business owners I run into and talk to, want to be all things. They want to do all the activities in their business, and that is the thing that's going to get you stuck. Getting out of your own way and coming at it from a business perspective and really thinking about what is the outcome that I want to hit here? What are the goals I want to hit? And what is the fastest way to get there? Being all things to all people is the number one way to fail at running a multi-million-dollar painting business working less than a day a week. So it's getting really clear on what is the thing you want to achieve, get real clear on that outcome, and then find people to do it for you.
Now, how do we get tactical on that, right?
Yep.
Because this is very common. Even myself as a business owner, I know how the rabbit hole works, in the sense that, you kind of get this belief that in order to make more or grow the business more or faster, I need to work harder.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So what are the tactics that you have implemented to get yourself to only work once per week while making over $4 million in revenue?
Yeah. I'll start high level, and if we have to go down, we'll go down, because I don't want to make this really, really complicated. If you're starting out and you're thinking right now, where do I focus my energy? The very first step is to eliminate distractions. So eliminate all the things that aren't moving the needle in your business. So if you think about your business, all the activities that are happening in your business right now, the reality is 80% are not moving the needle. So I like to look at any business or any problem and think about it this way. Do you know dominoes? You know, dominoes, you line dominoes up and you knock them over. I have this analogy to that. What is the leading domino? What is the biggest domino I can knock over that will hit 5, 6, 7, 8 other tasks at a time, rather than stacking up dominoes in your business that are too far apart that when you hit the first domino, it falls. And going to get up again, hit the next domino and falls. And you keep doing the new activity, the new project, rather than what are the things that are actually remove the needle in my business. So the number one thing is, where can I eliminate distractions that are holding me back from getting stuff done in my business? And if you don't know what that stuff is in your business, it's not the thing that you do. So for me, becoming a better painter was never going to help me build a business that I could leverage myself out of. So when I established that, well, I keep trying to be a better painter and I keep working on being a better painter, I drop the ball on how to become a better business owner. If you can move in painting to being better at winning more profitable jobs, so understanding sales and marketing, you'll be able to hire as many painters as you can. So distraction in my business or in painting business is being a better painter because it just takes too much time. The thing that you do is not going to get you where you need to go. It's just a function. It's just a byproduct of the outcome that you provide. So remove distractions is number one. Number two, just get better at the shit that matters. Can I say shit? Sorry, man.
Yes, you can. Please go ahead.
So get better at the things that matter. Now, I've picked sales. So I ideally think about, okay, I'm going to double down on improving my ability to communicate and sell my services, my offering to my ideal target market. So I'm going to focus my time and attention on being better at that thing. I didn't focus my time and attention on being better at reconciling accounts. I didn't focus my time on being a better painter because those activities, although important, they don't move the needle. So 1, eliminate distractions. 2, just get better at the things that make a difference. 3, now this is the hardest one. This is the hardest one I feel having spoken to hundreds of painting business, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of painting business owners around the country, is really having a standard. It's hard to commit to that standard because what happens is we get into business and we have a standard, but then we lower the standard because we feel we need more work. So I'm going to drop my quality, drop my standard because I need more work and I want to win more jobs. The problem is when you drop your standard, you drop your value to the market. You drop everything that should be valuable as a standard. You start dropping that standard. When you don't stand for something, you can't attract the right clients. Not only you don't attract the right clients, you don't attract the right people to your business. So that's why, for me, number 3 seems to be the hardest because you've got to not only hold that standard, you've got to raise the standard. When you can raise your standard for yourself and for your business, you attract the right type of people because I heard this saying, and I don't know who said it, but it's pretty cool. People don't buy your presence, they buy your standard. So whether they're your clients, your teammates, your stakeholders that want to come to your business, people get attracted that you have a standard, you uphold that standard, you do what you say, and you say what you do, you will attract the right people to your business. So from a super high level, that would be the tactical thing I'd focus on with someone. I go, let's break it down. Let's look at activities that are distractions in your business. Let's piss them off. Let's look at the areas that you need to be better at and get better at that. And thirdly, let's look at the standard and make sure we're either raising the standard, but if it's at a high standard, let's uphold the standard because if you don't stand for something, you stand for nothing.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more with what you just shared, and especially the standard side of things. I'm relentless with letting my team know we provide world-class customer service. Our standard is world-class and nothing less. We were not going to settle with anything less, and we're going to do whatever it takes to deliver on that promise because, as we know, it doesn't matter which market you're in. Holding that standard is one of the hardest things in business. How do you make sure that once you start putting together a team so that you can scale the business, serve more people, more customers, and take everything to the next level, you keep the same standard as if it was you doing that fulfillment or that delivery. It's extremely complicated, right?
Very, and hard, yeah.
But if you can do that, you're going to instantly be one of the top best options in the market because we know that one of the easiest things to do is like, just, get rid of the standards.
Yeah.
Just ignore them. Drop them.
Yep.
Yes. So absolutely, you need to fight to death to have the right people in your team that are gonna genuinely want. This is the other thing. Like most people don't want to be held to high standards.
No.
Because holding yourself to that standard means usually working more. It means having to do, not going the lazy way about things, right? And the standard many times create problems. It's like when people try to do the right thing and they get surprised like, doing the right thing created all the problems. Yeah, that's what it means, doing the right thing. That is the hard thing to do, but it's the right thing to do. So you should do it.
Yeah.
Right? So
Correct.
the same thing is with the standard as I see it at least.
100%. And I think that's amazing to say that because I find that as business owners we are the leaders of our business, and that standard starts with us. And it's hard because leadership starts with us picking the standard. I like to use the analogy, I'm old, Michael Jordan, calling the shot. You've got to call the shot in business. This is what we're going to go for. And you've got to take the first step, because leadership is responsibility. So if you've got a team and you're building a team, if you can't lead yourself first, no one's coming. Whereas what I see a lot of people get stuck in business is they're trying to do leadership by direction, as in, hey guys, we're going in this direction. I find it much easier to go, hey guys, we're going this direction, come follow me, and you hold the standard. The right people will follow, the wrong will get off the bus.
Yes.
Because if you hold the standard, people get uncomfortable, as you said, with being accountable, and they will naturally just leave your space. Yes. Because I don't want to put different analogies in this, but it's like when you raise the bar, you raise the heat. When you raise accountability, people just don't get uncomfortable and they naturally leave. I didn't know this, I was doing it at the time. I've never been a fan of letting people go, but I've always, even when I was younger, I realized that if I just raise the standard, people just leave anyway. Yes. So it was like I didn't like confrontation, but I thought, you know what? I'll just hold myself to accountable, and then people by default will either meet me or leave. And I find that to be, it's been true in business for the last 2 decades.
Yes.
It's been true. And whenever I felt I'm comfortable, it's because our standard is comfortable. It's really interesting that you say that, holding ourselves accountable, holding the team accountable. The reality is all that accountability and standard happens when no one's watching. That's Absolutely. The reality. Like we're doing this. Yeah. This is on show. I get it. Yeah. And this is the accumulation of a lot of hard work. But everything to get you and I into this seat, there's a shit ton of work happening in the background that no one sees. In all of our businesses, it's the work that people don't see that matters. And that's, you can only be accountable to yourself when no one's watching. That's the reality. I was having this thought. I have this practice every morning. For the last 606 days, I think that's 604 days, I've tracked my performance every single day, straight. Mental, physical, health, every aspect. I'm just tracking every single day. And the one thing that I've noticed is 99% of that activity no one can see. And you go, wow, it's for no one else. It literally is for no one else. So that point on standard is no one's going to see it and clap you at all, because no one gives a shit. You have to have a standard. You have to live that standard, uphold that standard. Energetically, you'll attract the right people.
And only you know.
Only you know.
That's the main thing. But it will also reflect on the results and outcomes of your business, right? And the kind of team that you have, on the kind of clients or customers that you have, on how long do they stay. That will be the reflection and ultimately the outcome as to, are you holding the highest level of standard as the leader and business owner of your company, right? Now, you work only once per week on your business, while still
in the painting business,
while still making multi-7 figures
we do all right.
in revenue, right? But it wasn't always like that.
No.
So when you when you first started, right? At what point you realize, like, okay, this is clearly not working, and I'm just working harder. Like, take us through the different stages that you had to go through before you could get to just working once but still having maximum returns.
How long you got? No, I'm only joking. I'm a slow learner. So we go back 20 years ago. I had this theory in my business. This is what I'm going to do. You may have had this conversation with yourself, and maybe some of your clients had a conversation with themselves. I'm going to outwork everyone. You work 5 days, I'm going to work 6. You work 6, I work 7. You work day, I work night. It doesn't matter. I'm going to outwork you. I was young. And then if that doesn't work, not only am I going to outwork you, I'm going to undercut you. So I'm going to win the work. So I'm going to be cheaper because I can work harder, because I made the common huge mistake that working harder is going to win. I can tell you now, hand on heart, I burnt out. Like in hindsight, look back, well, that was dumb, but you don't know what you don't know, because I mistook hard work. Now, I'm not saying you don't work hard, but you work hard at the right things. I was working hard at being a better painter. Maybe I should have been a better business owner. I was working hard at undercutting you so I could take the work from you. Well, I was just losing money. And that's exactly what happened. We fast forward 2 years, I was in significant debt. I worked a lot, but I was in debt. And I went, well, that didn't work. So I can tell you now, like, although I probably work less than 4 hours a week. I know it sounds I work less than 4 hours a week, but I was working 120 hours a week back then. So I can tell you, I know exactly how it feels to work 50, 60, 70 hours doing delivery, and then all the other activities in business hitting 100 hours. But I had to have that smack in the face breakdown to go, this isn't working. But I'm a person, I suppose, of excess. I like to test it for myself. I can beat the system. I can beat it. Yeah, no, you can't. So I had that massive learning curve, and I actually put my hand up and said, shit, I need help. I need help because I want this thing, but I don't know what I'm doing.
What happened at that point though? What was the moment? You remember that moment where you were like, okay, I need to do something different if I want a different result?
100%. I did our financials and I came back with debt. I said, how can I work 100 hours a week and be negative 150 grand? How does that maths work? And being paid nothing. Obviously, I was working hard the wrong things, and it just smacked me. And I went, you know what? I need help. And I don't think around 2004 there was a word called business coach. I don't know, because this is pre-coaching, consulting, mentoring, and all that sort of space as a commercial entity. But I Googled, I looked for one. I need help in business, and I found one. And that gentleman changed my perspective on business, completely changed the way I looked at business. And it got me on a journey of education, because up until that point, my own education was school. And I don't think I read a book cover to cover at school, to be honest. I don't even know if I did. So I would have been in my early 20s now, and this gentleman gave me a book and said, read the book. And I read a book. And the lesson I got was, in the journey of business, it's all about learning. It's continual learning. And then, 21 years on, I've had coaches ever since. I'm continuing learning, whether it be about sales or marketing or automation or CRMs or technology or AI, whatever happens to be, I'm continuing learning. So the faster I learn, the more I earn. So yeah, although it's 4 hours a week now, it wasn't 4 hours a week back then. And then that set me on a journey of education. And I don't want to get into the woo-woo side of things, but we have to go there, because the reality was I had a mindset shift. I had a belief shift, because I believed, and you may have had this thought, and maybe some of your listeners have had this thought, that I believed if I worked harder at being a better painter and I underpriced you, I would be successful. So my beliefs had to change significantly, because all I did was burn me out. I actually did it twice because I didn't learn the first time. I thought, you know what? I'll do it more efficiently next time. Let's do it again. And I burnt out again because I just wanted to make sure, hey, maybe I got it wrong. No, I did it twice. And that was the biggest aha moment, that I have to become a business owner. It's a mindset shift from my identity up until that stage. So 2006, 2008 was built on, I'm a painter. So my whole identity was built around the painter, until I had that second burnout and some really good mentors around me to just maybe get me to challenge my thought patterns and challenge my beliefs that, maybe I can be a business person, an investor, an entrepreneur. So I had to change the language that I was telling myself. So what your thoughts, with your words that you say, your thoughts you're giving sound to. So you're going to be very careful on the language that you use about yourself particularly. So yes, 4 hours now. It wasn't that back then. And that was a journey. Each few years, there's improvement. So I went from off the tools, and I made the mistake of thinking, well, I'm off the tools now, I made it. I replaced the brush with a computer. I got stuck behind a computer for like 4 years because my ego kicked in and went, sucked in, I'm off the tools, I've made it in business, and I just changed proverbial handcuffs of the brush and roller, and now I've changed it for the computer and a desk. So I swapped my 80 hours over here to 80 hours for the computer. And I didn't know I'd swapped the chains until I realized I'm working in front of a computer all day long. This is terrible. I've just swapped my identity. Then I went, okay, now I need to get rid of that one. And then I moved out of that and built a sales team to remove myself from that part of the business. But each iteration of the business development came with education. Education changed my mindset and beliefs, gave me some new strategies that we could move the business to the next direction. And at each level, kept replacing myself. But the jump to less than a day, from 3 days, because I sat at 3 days for a very long time, 3 days a week, because I believed I had to be there. Had nothing to do with the business needed me. It's just that my identity was built on being a business owner, that I had to be around and be involved in the business. And if anything, I annoyed everyone. So I was annoying everyone because I was sticking my nose and stuff, getting see an email, intercept an email, or get involved in the job, and it all had been handled. So I felt like I needed to justify my existence and be busy. So I said, I'll work 3 days a week, because I wore it as a badge of honor. It was very hard to let go. And I mean let go. It wasn't that the business couldn't do it. I just wouldn't let go. So I know in my journey, I had to replace it with something I liked doing, because I couldn't, I was too young to retire. I retired and I gave up work and said, I'm too young. I love the journey of business development. I love the journey of learning. I love solving problems. And then when I wasn't in the business doing stuff, I felt like I had what am I going to do? No one else is under 50 doing nothing. What am I going to do? I don't want to sit around all day. So I stuck my nose in there. And then I fell into helping businesses, and I found a passion for that, real passion for that, particularly painting business owners, but in businesses in general, found a passion for that. So by me going after the thing that I really enjoyed doing, which is helping painting business owners, excelled the way that QPaint was able to grow without me. Because I found this phenomenon. I don't know if you found this phenomenon too. I found this interesting thing that when I was coaching, consulting, mentoring painting businesses, I was actually getting better at running a business myself. Because me teaching helped me absorb the information more. So QPaint got better. So QPaint got better the more I consulted. It was like a catch-22. The more I helped people, the better it got. Because I was taking what was happening in QPaint, breaking it down, and being able to teach other people it. But then it helped me identify, okay, this is how we improve it. And I just repeated that pattern, repeating the pattern, and then it just went from 3 days to 2 days to 1 day. And I sat for 1 day for ages. And in the end, I was just filling in my time again. So that's why it's down to 4 hours.
That your journey, it resonates so much with me, because I had to go to something very similar, which was, killing that old version of me that was the filmmaker, the videographer, the editor, right? It had to evolve, and I had to get out of my own way in order to take things to the next level and be what the business needed of me, right?
Yeah.
To actually step into being a business owner. So that actually was extremely hard to me. And as you said, it's all a mindset shift. It's an identity improvement, renewal, changing, right? And as you keep evolving, there's different new paradigm shifts that you need to have in order to take everything now to the next level and the next level and the next level. So what exactly can a business owner implement right now in order to have that shift faster so that they can grow the business?
I think the fastest way is proximity. So be close to the people that are closest to your goal. That's one thing I learned along the way. And I don't know the book, but I think it might be Dale Carnegie. There's a book that's 100 years old that speaks to this principle about something along these lines. We become the average of the 5 people we hang around. So I've always understood that concept, and I've made sure I've hung around people like that. But if I'm talking to a business owner, and whatever level they're at, the fastest way is to get in the proximity or the network or the space or the environment of the people that are a few steps down the road from you, because this weird thing happens. Again, woo-woo. I don't mean to be, but it's real. When you're around the thing that you want the most, you become that thing. I think you touch on becoming the business owner. It is fundamentally the number one foundational thing that, as people, we want to have whatever the thing it is, right? We want to have this thing. Car, business, money, holiday, life, family, insert the thing that we want to have, right? We all understand that bit and we go straight into, what do I do? It's a to-do list. It's an action list. It's a vision board, blah, 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 right? Insert the thing. And then we focus on the doing. I'm going to do this harder. I'm going to work, insert the actions, right? The most important part that we all miss this boat is it has less to do with what we do and who the person we have to become. Because if you don't become that person, you will never do the thing. For example, to become a business owner that can have the business run less than 3 days a week within it, right? Or 2 or 1, whatever it happens to be. You have to become the business owner that has clarity on their numbers, that knows the critical metrics, that has financial literacy. You have to be that person, because if you're not that person, you can't do the thing. You can't do the thing. You must be a good communicator. Because if you're not a good communicator, you're not going to have the outcome of the business that runs 1 day a week. So it's really I love tangents and I'll go down rabbit holes all day long. But you asked the question, what is the one thing? It would be proximity to the people who are closest to your goal, whatever it happens to be. It can be YouTube, podcast. If you can't get in person, you don't have to be in person. Books, whatever it happens to be, surround your space to those people, because by osmosis, you will start becoming, because you want to look at what are the things that they do, the words that they say, the people that they hang out, the language that they use. Because whatever business you're in and you're moving towards some sort of future, and for me, it's hard to measure because everyone, they're looking for some sort of success in whatever they're moving forward to. And my definition of success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. So ultimately, we all have different ideals, but success comes through moving towards it. Not necessarily getting it. I get value out of me progressing. I hope to get the thing, but I'm more content and happy that I'm always moving forward. I'm always getting better. I'm always improving. That is my win. So if whatever business that someone's in, if the person in front of you or a few people in front of you is at that position, you're progressing towards that direction. So find out who is the person you need to be. The one thing that I use for myself for this particular situation about being is I ask the question to myself, Tas, who do I need to become 2 years from now to have the thing that I want to have? And I think about that, but that person can communicate. That person has financial literacy. That person is an investor. That person values their time and buys back their time at different intervals. Then I become that person now, because there's no reason why I can't have the thing now. As in, well, start learning about numbers now. Start learning to be able to communicate it now. Because compounding those activities now for the next 2 years means I'm going to get that outcome. Another way of saying that is, let's say you want to get fit, right? And you can do the actions. You can go to the gym 3 days a week. You can do the exercise and all those activities. But if you don't become the person that doesn't sneak off and get the McFlurry, if you don't become the person that doesn't get up at night and have the connoisseur vanilla ice cream with the ice magic, you won't get the outcome, because you have to become the person that is super fit first. You get the stuff later. So
that's something that I learned many years ago, that most people want to do so they can have, so they can become, when the best approach to get the results is you have to become and then do so you can have.
100%.
So that it's a bit of a cheat code
in life. It is a cheat code.
And I agree with you. I hate also going into the woo-woo stuff, but there is a magic element to life and business in general. Like it's in the little things, you know. And as you said, language matters. How you speak to yourself. That like this is something as well. Even just showing, I actually have it on my phone, I think. But pretty much, you know, telling myself who I am. You know, I'm an 8-figure founder, an investor. You know, Vibes Creative makes $1 million USD per month, and I'm the luckiest man alive. That's a conversation that I have with me, and you can see in there, you know, like the things that materially, you know, that looks like in the vision that I'm trying to become right now. But I have that kind of conversations, and as you said as well, how do you then bring that into the physical world? You need that proximity. You need to be in a room where other people have got what you're trying to get. Like mentorship is huge. It's similar to you, my path. I was completely lost until I got my first coach ever. That's what really opened the possibilities and took off for me and the business, was just realizing like, oh, hey, I was working really hard on the wrong thing. No way you're gonna get the result that you're thinking if you're working. Doesn't matter how hard you work if it's not the correct areas that you need to be working on. And now even like I'm on a very high level mentorship group where all the people in there are big players and marketing and people behind some of the biggest names in the world, right? That's the kind of room that I need to be right now in order to get the outcomes that I'm working towards, right? So huge. If you have no mentors or coaches, you need to find either. And I think this is the other part that I've realized as well. I coach my team every day. I give them all the tools and all the knowledge and all the things that nobody ever got to me. I give them to them. So you should be in a place where it also the leadership is providing that mentorship, that guidance.
100%.
Right? It's huge. If the leadership is not into improving themselves, how can they help the team to be better? That's the standard part. Exactly. And again, goes back to the standard. Hey, real quick, if you're a founder, CEO, or business owner looking to build a personal brand, scale your business, and become a great leader, I've been curating all the best lessons, tactics, and strategies that I've learned from 7, 8, and 9-figure entrepreneurs and my own business journey into the ultimate playbook to help you accomplish just that. So if you're keen to get them straight into your inbox, sign up for our newsletter in the link down below. Now back to the episode. Now in terms as well of the like replacing yourself, buying back your time. What's the best way of buying your time back as a business owner?
It's all numbers. So every role in your business has a rate, starting from, you know, general admin to admin, bookkeeping, business management, and then you get into the delivery part of the business, which is the execution of the task and scheduling and all the functions around delivering the services. Then you get into the sales and then marketing. So every part of the business, there's a role and responsibilities, but it can be quantified. It can really quantify it. So as a business owner, we don't want to be working on the tasks at the lowest level. Like if I'll pick delivery, whatever industry you're in, there's a delivery component, whatever it is, right? So that component is usually in the middle, right? And let's say it costs you $50 an hour, but you can on-sell it at $100 an hour. I'm picking round numbers because I don't want to do maths in my head too complicated. So if you're doing activities that are less than that, then you got to get rid of them straight away. Because worst case scenario, you can stay doing the thing you've attached your identity to. Worst case scenario, but that's the trap. That's where everyone gets stuck. They get a bit ahead and go, you know what? I'm going to delegate, get a bookkeeper and an admin, and that is a cost of the business of $40, $50 an hour, but I can't charge $100 an hour. It's a cost. So I'm going to go over here and charge $100. So I'm $50 better off than not doing this. And they go, woohoo, sucked in. You're stuck in a trap now because you've just trapped yourself at this level. The next step is what is the next highest level activity? So it's about identifying in whatever business you're in, what is the next highest level for you to work towards that you can replace yourself with another activity. That's how you do it organically. And naturally what happens is, for me, sales is the highest leverage activity that I can see, because sales doesn't have a cap. So naturally, as a business owner, you move through those till you get to that point, and then you burn out at that level as well. And that's probably the last thing you want to play. Well, no, then you move into management. But even sales will probably make more per hour than management in your business. So that's perfect analogy, buying back your time. You literally are buying back your time through those activities. Can I share our experience with Vibes?
Yes, please.
All right. 100% this is buying back our time. 100%. Right? Conservatively, I'm being conservative. I'm not even going on the high end. I've identified we're buying back at least 8 to 10 hours back of my time per week by this partnership together. I'm way more value to the business in sales and even just strategic planning and thinking to the business than getting stuck in the editing and what are we going to do and what we're going to schedule. So I got trapped there too. I got trapped in that cycle thinking, yeah, look at this. I'm doing this cool thing here right now. I'm being creative. But really, I've stuck 10 hours. And 10 hours is not a good example, but let's say I do 40 weeks a year. That's 400 hours of the year I've just bought back for whatever activity. Now, as a business owner, I'm operating level that I'm going to use that time to get better at something in our business. And already we've seen results in 2 weeks. So at every level of your business, you're trading time for money. It's about identifying how can I get my time back so I can work on a higher level activity that gives me a better ROI for my time. And it could literally be get your time back to go do investments, whatever happens to be, but there's always another level, whatever that level happens to look like. But as business owners, we get very attached to our business and we get stuck at levels because we move through another level and we get very visionary and entrepreneurial and we go, oh, this is a cool place. Let's hang out here for a bit. But really it's got you stuck.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. Ultimately, what we always think, I think for myself, and I always give as well to our consulting clients, is you want to be thinking on the most significant revenue-driven activities that you can do, get clear on the specific constraint and bottleneck of the business that once solved is going to have the maximum impact on that revenue activity or revenue result. So always try to assess, and this sometimes is quite complicated to assess. It's not as easy to know, but the way I always have gone about it is from all the different constraints that we have, and at any one point, you will have multiple constraints. There's just one that could be more obvious.
Yeah.
The thing is that, and here's where critical thinking actually comes into place, and sometimes it's a higher level knowledge or some sort of mentor or someone outside the bubble that you're in that can point out the right constraint to work on, because sometimes it's not what it looks to be the obvious thing to work with. And the way I usually go about it is assessing which one of these constraints, once solved, is going to create double the impact, the game of doubles. That's what we play on. And sometimes you have to think deeply, because it's very easy to go down choosing the wrong constraint that ultimately took more work, more effort, and once solved, it didn't really have that much of an impact compared to solving the real problem and all the time and resources that were wasted because you incorrectly identify the thing to work on
100%.
or the activity to work on.
It's something that I've been guilty of this, is optimizing the thing that shouldn't exist in the first place.
Yes.
Like,
That's one of the worst ones.
I was really good at that.
Yeah.
I was really good at that because as business owners, you're trying to be more efficient and you mistake efficiency for effectiveness because what happens is you get trapped in the busy. You go, well, I'm being efficient. Let's improve the efficiencies here. And you go, realistically, it's improved at 2%. What?
Yeah.
All this effort for a 2% improvement.
2%,
Why are we optimizing the thing that we should probably just get rid of?
Yeah.
And that's the trap of business. We get stuck into being efficient at things that probably shouldn't actually exist.
Yes.
I like to share with clients, and I'll put a caveat on this. There's two components. You have process-based thinking. So you're here today and you're thinking the future, and you develop a step-by-step process of how to get to that point. Or outcome-based thinking. You go, okay, I want to get there. What is the 3 or 4 moves I can get to that point? Like that chessboard. I want to get to the end of this game as fast as possible. We can do it in 72 moves, but I could probably do it in 4. So how do I do it in 4?
Yes.
When you can change the outlook in business and go, okay, how do I do it in the least amount of steps? It removes the other 24 steps fast and go, okay, get rid of. I want that outcome. These 4 things, get there. But what happens is once you get close to that outcome, or you get feedback with you how far off you are, then you develop the process. I find that I used to spin my wheels, and I see clients spin their wheels where they sit and they're trying to make the process perfect first before going live or launching it. 1 month, 2 months, 6 months, 3, but whatever, 12 months later, they're still developing the process. And because they go step 1, 2, 3, correct. Step 1, 2, 3, 4, correct. Step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, correct. You go, man, we don't even know if it works. How about we just do, what are the 3 biggest moves to get there? Do that. And then we solve the other shit out later. Because 2 things are going to happen. You get feedback that sucked, don't do it. Or, shit, that worked. We don't need 27 steps. We need 4. So I like to look at things now very differently now. And I'm going to be careful because you do need a process when you leverage yourself out, because you need to give it to the next person that can do it without you. But at the beginning, just go for the thing. Call the shot. Be a leader. Have a crack. You'll get feedback. You'll correct.
Yes. Yeah. It's such a common misconception that a lot of business owners go. I recently was on a consulting call, and this business owner came in and he's like, I'm ready to start pumping off the traffic. I've been working for a year on all the back end. I got the sales team. I got the setters. They haven't even sold a single person on the thing. And I was like, why are you going completely backwards? So you got the people to sell, and you don't have traffic to feed them. What are they going to do? They're literally just going to starve, and then they're just gonna leave, right?
Yeah.
So why are you trying? And eventually, and sometimes people need to learn the hard way, because it was pretty simple to know and just see like, hey, you kind of did it backwards. You should generate traffic, sell the thing, and then you get paid to build the thing, right? Yeah. And sometimes people you just need to crash into the wall, and then eventually a couple of weeks later realize like, yeah, I think you're right. I just let go of everyone, and I'm just gonna focus on selling the thing. I'm like, well, we could have started there, but cool. Let's just do that now, right?
Get proof.
Yes. Get evidence that the market wants this thing validated. Going back to replacing yourself as well, what was the hardest position for you to replace yourself from the business?
Hard as in me letting go, or hard as in difficult to do?
From you to actually like letting go of which position, and that was in itself just difficult to get someone to come in.
I can answer the question, and it's probably not what you think it is. It was the painter, because my identity was built on that. I had to shatter my whole belief system that I had a belief system no one could do it better than me. So that was the hardest, as in the most difficult. But I had to break myself first by burning out to go, well, I don't have a choice now. I either break that belief, or I continue on this journey of burnout. So that was, when I say the hardest, because that was a mental shift. Like I had to burn out a couple of times to get that shift. But so that's structural belief system change, which doesn't sound that hard, but it is when you built up a whole identity being second generation painter, this is what we do, this is who I am, this is who my family is. I'm shattering so many belief patterns left, right, and center. It's not funny. That was the most difficult. Once I did that, wasn't that difficult. I was like, holy shit. Because now, I think what you were talking about before, and surrounding yourself by experts, mentors, coaches, or consultants, is I had this aha moment that there's a lot of stuff I don't see. I didn't know I didn't see that thing. So how much out there in the world is around there that I don't even know it exists, but it's in front of me and everyone else can see this shit and I can't see it, that I need people around me that have been there before or are there now, and they go, hey, look at that thing over there. You just said, oh, I didn't see that thing. I better do that thing over there. So I moved quicker after that because I learned if I don't know something, find someone that'll figure it out for me and solve that problem. So I just kept moving through those steps myself. But the trap was I got trapped at each level because I thought I had to be an expert at it. So the lesson I wish I knew earlier on was I don't have to know anything. I just know what I want and find someone that can do it. That's the trap that keeps looping in. We get stuck into, I want to have the thing, I'm going to do the thing. That's the trap. And it's a perpetual game for me and probably for everyone. Yeah. You fall into the rabbit hole of, like, I've got this, well, I pulled myself up pretty quick. I probably pulled myself faster than most. I went into we're having this conversation off camera before around AI. I had this rabbit hole beginning of the year. I went, this is what we're going to do. We're going to bring AI in and da-da-da. And I went into the rabbit hole. So I'm going, because I want to have the thing and now I'm doing the thing. And I went in for a while, well, more than a month. And I went, hey, I can see a trap. I'm back in the hole again. How did I get in the hole again? Reverse, get out of the hole. Now find someone who can do the thing. Yes. So that is a skill set that I'm even learning today, that it's too attractive to get into the how because we build identity on that.
Instead of finding the who.
Because I'm really good at it now with technical stuff. Like I can't even use TikTok. So we're doing like videos today. I don't know TikTok. I don't get involved in tech. I have people around me that are really, really good at software development processes and stuff. I want the outcome. Like when I was sharing before about outcome-based thinking, I go, I want this thing over here. I don't want to know this thing over here. I just want that thing. And then who can do this thing the fastest?
Yes.
And I find the who can do it the fastest. And then we give it a crack because we don't know if it's going to work. And I loved how you shared that analogy with your client, that the market will decide whether it works or not. The faster we can get feedback, the faster we can just go on to the next project or not. Yes. It's speed now. Yes. It's all about speed of feedback. I mean, speed of feedback. Yeah.
And by the way, for me, that was again the hardest thing to let go as well. I was forced into. There was no other option. It got to the point that I was absolutely at my maximum capacity. Yep. Couldn't gather any more hours to just work on the thing, and even though the person that I was training, which is our head of content today, he's been with me for years now, it got to the point where I just was forced. I didn't think he was ready. And he was, to an extent. It was me having this, didn't want it to let go. I don't think he can do it as good as me. I don't think he's going to, deliver the same outcome as I want it to be, all this stuff. So it was big to get to the point where I was just like, okay, there's only two options here. Either I just work myself to death or I start letting go of the thing. And to my surprise, it just worked out so well that all I was thinking is like, how come it took me so long to do this thing? How much money did I leave on the table by not doing it early? Time that you will never get back as well, right? So the faster you can find the who, again, to hold the standard, the better you will be, the faster you will be able to scale. And another thing as well that I've shared with people is, the other part is that if you're new to business, you're better off understanding the thing, right? Because you haven't played the game. Once you evolve, what I realized is that once you move to the next business is, I don't have to be that. I can just find the person directly, right?
That's true.
You put the team together.
For context, you're right.
Exactly. But I also find an advantage as to, because you started everything, you know everything, right? So you can provide the coaching, the guidance, the, hey, don't do it this way, do it this way. I already made that mistake a million times. Create the right processes and standard operating procedures as well for anyone to just come in. Oh, okay, so this is how we do it to get the best result. Great. And eventually get to a point where you get people that do it better than you. Right? That's the next level.
And that's the hardest part, like in business, is sitting with it. Because I agree, even when you're slogging out for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years and you're doing the hard work, even if you're not getting the result, the work is working on you. Like you're becoming more resilient and tougher, and you've been knocked down, and you can operate with less money and less efficiencies, and you become so much stronger that, like, sometimes I feel like if I had hit a home run in the first 1 or 2 years, I probably would have failed because I didn't get taught resilience.
Yes.
Like I know I might sound bad when I say I burnt out, but they're like massive lessons. And if I didn't go through it, I wouldn't have learnt it, because I have to be hit by the street sign to learn. Like, you can't tell me the thing. I don't get the thing. I need to be run over by the car and go, got it.
Yeah.
I got the lesson now. Otherwise, I'll repeat the same problem until I get the lesson. Usually, for me, and I think for most business owners, the more money it costs me, the more I learn the lesson. Like when you lose, $100, $200, $300, or a couple $1,000 a month, not so much. When you lose 7 figures, you learn the lesson so fast. On every level. Intuitively, spiritually, physically, mentally, you got it covered. So there's so much in what you were saying before about, if you're starting a business, you got to do the work, even if you don't get the outcome, because the work is working on you, because you're becoming better. Because if you don't, when it gets hard, life comes.
Yes.
Whatever it comes in, might not be work, might be personal, might be whatever it is going to come and get you. Long enough timeline, we all get a lesson somewhere.
And I've seen, by the way, businesses that they hit those home runs too early, and it kind of becomes this bad thing for most people if they didn't learn the resilience aspect. When you come from the very bottom and you have gone through some
There's
shit.
nothing to lose.
Yes, but everything to gain.
Everything to gain. There's nothing to lose.
And you know what it takes. Yeah. So you're not gonna do something as well that is gonna bring you back down.
Risky. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So you have now something to lose. Right.
Yeah.
In terms as well of the positions. So you mentioned that basically stop being the painter or the person in delivery.
That was the difficult one.
That was the hardest one. What was the last one to let go of?
Internally, sales. Internally, because up until that point, I'd built my identity around, if I control the sales, I control the business. But in the end, you cap out there too. There's caps everywhere. So that was the last thing that when I say last, it was 14 years ago. Well, it wasn't like last week. It was like 2010, 11.
Yeah.
So it was a while ago. Yeah. But that was, you talked about constraint. That was a constraint. That was a constraint I could see, because it was the thing that I didn't know how to train someone on, because it always just learned it by, it's not like painting as a structure. And admin, there's a compliance and structure. There's a way you send an invoice. There's a way you reconcile accounts. Like, that's how you do it. Whereas sales, I taught myself sales up to that point. Now I got sales training up to that point. So that was the last thing to let go of. And I micromanaged for a fair bit, because I got concerned. Well, what if they underquote? What if all these different fears that I had kick into me? But that was the last area. Ultimately, I had to make a decision, as a business owner will get to, is when you step away, am I going to hire a general manager because someone needs to keep the glue together, or sell? What is the next move? And I, fortunately, falling into the coaching space or helping businesses space, that's how it started, I organically worked out, I just became a consultant to myself, to my own business. And I think you touched on that, being a coach to your team. That's exactly what happened. But I didn't. It wasn't like some smart idea. It was just I was just doing it. I go, why can't I just do the same thing for my own business? Like, whereas you look at when you're in the business, you're too close to it and you don't see stuff. And I had to like sort of step out of my business and then treat my business as a client. I saw things. It was like I saw it differently, objectively. I didn't take it personally that if something was underperforming, I didn't take it personally and go, and justify that situation. I'm going, well, that's interesting. Why is that? So now, let's go back 5-6 years ago. I made the decision that I'm not going to bring a GM in. I'm going to build this business when COVID hit. The thing that's holding me in the business was the team members being able to make the right decisions at the right time without me. So they always come back to me with feedback, right? Okay. How do we fix that? Then we just had to identify, okay, how do I get them the right information at the right time? That was step one. So they need to know for their particular role, what are the key critical indicators, metrics, information that's simple, that they can see, so then they can make a decision after that. So once we got to that point, get visibility in the numbers for the certain areas, then I went into coaching about, okay, when it does this, this is what we do. So then I moved into coaching the team. And that's pretty much what I do. My 1 day a week in the business, it's not really in it. I'm coaching my team.
So that's what you do with your last day.
That's that day in the business. It's coaching. It's coaching, but it's more that I want to be connected to the business because I still love that business. I don't want to not be a part of that business. I like being connected to the business. I catch up with the operational team, every fortnight now because I want to be, because the business is me. It's my culture through it. It's my standard through it. It's everything is permeating through the business is what was passing from parents to me and now to the team. So I didn't want to give that to anyone else because then they would put their energy, culture, and I'm not saying I'm better than them, but that's not what I wanted. So that space now is really held for coaching and connection, really, if anything, because we have an hour meeting and 50 minutes of it is talking about the weekend and how are things, what's going on, how was Perth, how was this, that sort of stuff. So yeah, sales was probably the hardest one after operations because that's the money.
Yes, that's the oxygen.
That's the oxygen. That's the money. But when you give when the person responsible for whatever role happens, it could be operations, can be administration, or it could be sales, right? If they have clear visibility on their key critical metrics, numbers, or whatever it is that they need to do, and it's either going to be on target or off target, or it's going to be above it, below it, or on it. So if it's above it, cool, they do nothing. If it's on it, it's cool. If it's under, teaching them what to do next. So that was the missing link. And that's what pretty much went from 3 days, 2 days, 1 day. Went really fast because they're doing this job every day. They're closer to the solutions than me. All my conversations around, I'm trying to get out of them the situation. And then I ask them, what do you think they do? And then they tell me the answer and then they do it. I said, well, why am I in this conversation? Yes. I should just get out of the way. And as long as you've got the right data, you making the decision yourself. And then the whole point of me catching up is coaching. Let's review the numbers.
That gave me a little breakthrough as to being a consultant to your own business. Something for me to think about as well.
It was like an aha moment. I didn't realize it until I was doing it.
Yeah.
I went, I'm actually doing it.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is a this or that segment. So you just pick one or the other.
Okay.
Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Sushi or steak?
Steak.
Expert or jack of all trades?
Expert.
Product or service business?
Offering, but I'll say service, so I have to pick one.
CEO or founder?
Founder.
Founder or investor?
Investor.
Instagram or TikTok?
Instagram. I can't use TikTok.
Instagram or YouTube?
I like YouTube.
YouTube or X?
YouTube.
YouTube or LinkedIn?
YouTube.
YouTube or Facebook?
YouTube.
Photos or videos?
Video.
Short form or long form video content?
Long.
Newsletters or podcasting?
Podcasting. Podcasting.
Organic or paid marketing?
Organic. I like organic.
1 million followers with low conversions or 1,000 raving fans?
1,000 raving fans every day of the week.
Building a talent or hiring a talent?
I'll go with higher.
A talent at a high price tag or multiple cheap C talent?
No, high talent. Every day. High. The first one. High talent.
Property investing or shares?
I'm property.
Property or crypto?
I'm property.
Property or buying businesses?
Oh, acquiring businesses.
Building a business or buying a business?
Building.
Passion, 6-figure business or stressful 8-figure business?
Passion.
And the most important one, sales or marketing?
Sales.
Actually, I have one more for you.
Yeah.
Rolex or Patek?
Rolex.
Rolex or AP?
I'm old school. I'm Rolex. You can keep lining them up.
My boy. What's the worst advice? What's the worst business advice you have ever received?
It's harder than you think. Because it's not. It's a game. It's a trap. People tell you that because they can't do it. It's not even business advice. It's just life advice.
What's the best business advice you have ever received?
There's nothing wrong with you.
If you're gone tomorrow and you could speak to the 30-year-old version of yourself in order to build a successful, great business that takes minimum time from them, what are the 3 things that you will tell them?
Talk to my 30-year-old self. There's nothing wrong with you. Keep going. You win either way.
Tas, it has been an absolute pleasure to have you on the podcast.
Thanks, mate.
Where can people find you? Who can get in touch with you? And essentially, if a trade business or a painting business needs your help, how can they get in touch with you?
Easiest way to get in touch with us is just Google paintercoach.com, at paintercoach. You'll find it. You'll find me there. And reach out. Love to chat about business. Love helping businesses. We work with trade businesses, but painters are my jam.
Legend. As usual, the links will be down below. If you enjoyed this episode, if you got value out of it, all I ask is share it with someone that might get benefits out of it as well. We're looking to build the #1 podcast for founders out there and the next generation. I will see you on the next episode. Good vibes for everyone. Hey legends, my goal with Founders Playbook is to help 1 million entrepreneurs build successful personal brands and businesses so that they can increase their impact and profits. You can support the mission by simply sharing the podcast with other founders and entrepreneurs. Leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and follow us on social media. Let's get to work.